guys, what's going on, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to episode 3 of this prep series. So it is Friday today for me, which means check-in day. I saw a massive difference this week. Things are really starting to speed up a little bit, especially in my legs, which I was surprised by because I hold like most of my fat in my legs. But I'm going to put a little transformation picture of my legs on the screen for you, and there are 3 weeks between these pictures. I was really surprised by it because I felt like this week was quite slow for me until I looked at my pictures. So this is just your gentle reminder to remember to take your progress pictures, gals, because they are honestly the best way of tracking how you're doing when you are on plan. And I actually can't believe I have done 7 weeks so far on prep. It really doesn't feel like that. It honestly went by so fast, and I'm kind of hoping that the rest of prep goes like that too, because I am really enjoying it, and seeing my body change on a weekly basis is super exciting. So for today's video, I am going to be speaking about my training routine and my split, and basically everything to do with how I'm training on prep. And I will be bringing you through a gruesome leg workout. I normally record on Saturdays, but I know this leg workout is going to be absolutely insane, so I said I'd bring the camera and basically bring you through what I do and give you some tips and tricks along the way. So I am training a little bit later than usual today. It is 4:30 now, and I'm normally in the gym at like 12, but I had a few appointments today. I've been working on some really exciting things, guys, that will be coming to life very soon. It's actually 2 new projects that I'll be able to announce soon. One of them I've actually been working on for over a year at this point, and the other one is like a little bit of a newer, smaller project. But I'm really excited to show you what I have been working on, because your gal has been grafting and I've been up at all hours and trying to get things done on time for summer and for prep and things like that. So all will be revealed in the next few weeks. Just keep an eye out. But yeah, as I said, I am a little bit later than usual for today's workout. It is Friday though, so I'm hoping that the gym won't be too busy. On the plus side, I have had more calories and definitely more caffeine today than what I normally would before my workout, so I'm feeling pumped. But for today's video, I wanted to keep it just around my training session really, and give you some tips and tricks and keep it pretty raw in the gym and just show you what I'm up to and how I'm training. So on that note, guys, I will catch you at the gym. Okay guys, to start off today's workout, I will be starting with a conventional deadlift. So this is a movement I connect really well with, so when I connect well with a movement, I always incorporate it in my workouts. I am out of breath already from my warm-ups. This is not okay. So this is obviously a compound movement, and I love starting my workouts with a compound because that's when I have the most energy. So this is how I'm going to set myself up. I have my feet shoulder width apart. I have my spine neutral when I'm coming up in the movement, and I put my hands just outside my knees. And I keep my chest out. So I'm going to go for 85 kilos. I got this for 6 reps in my last session, so I'm hoping to get like 7 or 8 reps today. Let's see how we do. So I just set up my hip thrust. So for this movement, obviously if you have a strong hip thrust, you're going to have strong glutes. I include barbell hip thrust, and I also have the hip thrust machine. You see me doing that one quite often, but I find I can isolate my glutes a lot better here because it's a flat surface. So when I hip thrust on a barbell or on the hip thrust machine, you'll notice that my toes are always like slightly pointed out. This is just personal preference. I find that I can connect with my glutes a lot better, especially at the top when I'm squeezing, when my toes are pointed slightly out. And one tip for this as well is to make sure that your chin is tucked in, because it improves your pelvic tilt and it's just safer as well. You can often like strain your neck or hurt your back if you have your head like swinging on hip thrust. So just keep your chin tucked into your chest on this. leg development, especially your quads. If you're a newbie at the gym and if you're not very comfortable doing barbell squats, I would say the hack squat is a great replacement because it's a similar movement but you just feel a lot more secure in the machine. Your back is flat against the pad, you have more security on your shoulders as well with the extra pads, and it's just another stable movement I include in almost all of my leg sessions. Like if you're not hack squatting and if you have one in your gym, I would recommend definitely implementing it because it's a great machine. Next up, I am going to be doing a kneeling leg curl. Ideally, if you have a lying leg curl or a seated leg curl in your gym, I personally think they're a better setup, but for some reason my knee really hurts on seated ones, so I'm going to go for a kneeling leg curl instead. With this machine, make sure that you're flexing your glutes throughout the whole movement and pressing your hips up against the pad because that really isolates the hamstrings. The reason I say to flex your glutes is because if they're not flexed, the possibility of your hips coming off the pad is a lot higher and then the tension will come off your hamstrings, so just keep that in mind when you're doing it if you do have this one. Or better again, as I said, just use the lying leg curl, which is the most common one. You can probably notice that my hair and my whole appearance is like slowly deteriorating as we progress, but I'm on to my last leg exercise now. I will be doing a couple of sets of delts after this because I finish every session with delts, but doing barbell lunges to finish off today's session, I find these really good for targeting the glutes. I just connect really well with them, and I like having a barbell as opposed to the kettlebells because I find sometimes with kettlebells I kind of hunch over, whereas the barbell keeps my posture good and I just connect really well with the movement. So I'm going to finish off my leg day strong with these. Okay guys, it is the next day and I just thought I would sit down and have a chat to you about my training program. As I mentioned earlier in this video, I wanted it to be solely about training and the approach I'm taking, my split, my volume, my cardio and everything else that's to it. I am not even going to lie guys, I was absolutely exhausted after yesterday's session. I hit a big PB in hack squat, hip thrust and my deadlift, which I am super happy about. I'm 7 weeks in a deficit now and my strength is still going up, which is really good. And that's one thing I'm really adamant about with my training program on prep. Even though I am going to be tired and I'm going to be sleepy, and of course I'm not going to have as many calories as what I did before prep, but up until I'm like 6 weeks out, I am adamant that I beat my numbers no matter how tired I'm feeling. But you just really need to dig deep, and that will show on stage. If I'm training hard and if I'm still pushing myself, I will have a fuller look on stage and I'm not going to lose muscle tissue. Because you can definitely lose muscle tissue if you're in a calorie deficit and if you're not training hard enough. So keep that in mind. Even if you're in a deficit, if you're dieting for summer, if it's a photo shoot, if it's a show, whatever you're doing, remember that you need to dig deeper when you're in a calorie deficit in your training sessions. You're not going to have as much energy, but that shouldn't be an excuse to decrease your numbers until you're at the latter end of your diet. It honestly is a mental game. Your body is capable of much more than what you think. But anyway, I wanted to show you my training split at the moment because it is way different to what it was before I started prep. Before I started prep, I was doing upper lower rest, upper lower rest. I was training like that for months. And since I started prep, my coach completely changed it up. So my new split, I have rotation 1 and rotation 2 and it's upper. Then my next session is hamstrings, glutes and delts. next session is pull, and the next session is quads and delts, and then I repeat that into rotation 2. I am literally training delts every single time I'm at the gym. Even if I'm training lower body, I have delts at the end of that session, because having rounded big shoulders is super important for bikini. They're looking for like a really hourglass shape, so I always say this: the wider and broader your back and shoulders are, the smaller your waist is going to look. So for bikini, they're basically looking for slightly broader shoulders and lats, a small waist, and then bigger hips and glutes again. So I'd imagine that's why my coach put in delts at the end of basically every session. So when it comes to my training volume, that's also changed a lot compared to how I would have trained last year or the last few years of lifting really. Before, I would have done a lot more volume. I would have been doing like 4 or 5 sets with like 12 to 15 reps in exercises, and I would have had a lot more exercises per workout, but that has completely changed for me now. Now I am doing a lot less volume, and my intensity for my sets that I am doing is a lot higher than what it would have been when I was doing more sets, if that makes sense. So I will never say that one size fits all when it comes to a training program. Everybody is made up differently. We all have different genetic strong points and weak points, and I got great results from training high volume, and I'm also getting good results from training lower volume. So I think that everybody should play around with their training from time to time and see what works for them, because there are a lot of different ways you can approach your training program. But for this prep and for the last like 6 to 8 months or so, I have reduced my volume a lot. Now I only do 2 sets per exercise, which sounds like absolutely nothing. If you told me before that I would be doing 2 sets of shoulder press or 2 sets of hip thrust, I would have absolutely laughed and said that's not enough at all. But you probably see from my clips in today's video that my intensity is through the roof when I am doing my sets. I have 1 working set and 1 back off set. So basically my working set is 6 to 8 reps. In my working set, I am aiming to beat last week's numbers, of course, because that's what training is all about. That is progressive overload. And then I have my back off set, which would be like 12 to 15 reps. That's slightly lighter than my working set, but the intensity is still really, really high. And I have been absolutely loving this training style. I'm lifting numbers that I never thought I could have done before, and I probably wouldn't have been able to lift them before because of the sheer amount of volume in my workouts. I feel like by the time I got to my last exercise, I was absolutely exhausted with nothing left to give. Whereas when you're doing 2 working sets and only 2, I feel like you're going to dig that bit deeper because you know you have to make it count. It definitely took some getting used to at the start, because to be able to get to that intensity in the first place, I feel like you have to have experience with lifting. I wouldn't recommend that a complete newbie to the gym goes in and does 2 working sets, because even to mentally get that focus for those 2 sets, I feel like you have to be practicing weightlifting for a while. And other than lifting weights, I'm obviously doing cardio on prep as well. So I got my update from my coach yesterday, and I will now be doing 4 25-minute cardio sessions per week. For my cardio, I normally just use the treadmill, and my goal for cardio is to get my heart rate to between 130 to 140 beats per minute. So I just track that on my Fitbit while I'm on the treadmill. It's just basically a 25-minute power walk 4 times per week at the moment, but I'd imagine that's probably going to go up to maybe 5 or 6 times a week by the end of prep. And I do those cardio sessions fasted normally. But yeah guys, that is basically my whole training and cardio routine broken down for you. As I said, I am 9 weeks out today. From like 7-8 weeks out, you're really going to get into the digging phase on prep. You'd hear a lot of competitors speaking about the digging phase. So that's basically when you are really hungry, you're low in energy, but you're digging deep to get things done and to bring your best package. So I am going to be entering that phase very soon. Probably in my next like 2 to 3 videos, you're going to see me slowly enter that phase of like really grafting when you're hungry and when you're tired. But I'm honestly excited for it. I know it sounds absolutely psychotic, but I am really excited. But this is what I signed up for, and this is what I wanted. I wanted a challenge, and shit is about to get real very soon, and I'm super excited about it. Obviously, if you have any questions at all, then just leave them in the comment section and I will get back to you. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.